The Long Way Home. Ellis Morrow. Ellis is a quiet, introspective boy with a mind full of questions and an ache for connection. His parents, both overworked and emotionally distant, argue behind closed doors, leaving Ellis to navigate the noise and silence of a household slowly unraveling. His older brother Jonah, once his protector and playmate, left home under a cloud of tension that no one talks about. Since then, Ellis has felt invisible spoken around, not to. He retreats into sketching and wandering alone, trying to understand the world and his place in it. One day, after an especially harsh argument between his parents, he grabs a backpack and leaves, hoping to find Jonah, hoping to find something real. Corin is a foster child who's cycled through homes like seasons, never staying long enough to unpack. She learned young not to count on adults. At her last placement, a social worker who genuinely cared disappeared from her life due to a bureaucratic reshuffle, and Corin, once again, was left behind. Her scarf is from that worker, a symbol of a fleeting kindness she clings to. Living on the edges of a small town, she skips school, dodges questions, and keeps to herself. She lives rough, in abandoned sheds or quiet corners of the woods, surviving with sharp wit and sharper instincts. When she meets Ellis, she's immediately wary he reminds her too much of who she used to be before she learned to never hope for help. Jonah left at 16 after an explosive fight with their father about dropping out of school. He couldn't take the suffocating silence in the house anymore, nor the way his dreams were laughed off. He tried to make it as a musician in a nearby city, but fell into couch, surfing, and bad habits. Eventually, he stopped answering calls. He misses Ellis but doesn't know how to come back after everything he's failed at. He keeps tabs on his brother through old neighbors and mutual friends online. When Ellis disappears, Jonah drops everything and returns to Weatherdale, determined to find him before something terrible happens. Ellis Morrow was 11 when he ran away. It wasn't dramatic, no shattered windows or screaming matches, just a quiet departure. After a night of overheard arguing, the clink of glass, and muffled crying behind his parents' locked door. He packed a bag with a flashlight, a few snacks, a water bottle, and the picture of Jonah that always made him feel brave. He walked until the houses grew sparse and the streetlights disappeared. He didn't know where he was going, just that it had to be better than staying. In his heart, he hoped he might find Jonah. He had a faint memory of a place Jonah once talked about, a lake near the old quarry where they used to camp as kids. Corin saw him first, trying to light a damp match under a highway overpass. She almost ignored him, she had enough to worry about. But there was something about the way he kept trying, stubborn and scared, that reminded her too much of herself. She threw him a dry lighter without saying a word. They shared a silence that slowly turned into conversation. Corin showed him how to move without being seen, where to find food, what adults to avoid. She made it clear. This wasn't a game. Kids who vanished rarely made it back. Still, Ellis stuck close. She started calling him Shadow. He called her Map, because she always knew the way. Meanwhile, Jonah returned to Weatherdale after seeing a missing poster online. Guilt chewed at him, memories of promising Ellis he'd never leave, of telling him he'd come back. He retraced his own steps through the outskirts of town, talking to kids who hung out at gas stations, to old friends with younger siblings who might have seen something. Corin and Ellis moved through forgotten parts of town, empty warehouses, wooded lots, old trailers on the edge of the railway line. They met other kids too. Dee, who lived in a tent behind a factory and fixed bikes for cash. Milo, who stayed awake at night to keep watch because he didn't trust the dark. Each had their own story, their own reason for being invisible. One night, while sheltering in a shipping container, Ellis admitted why he left. Corin didn't say much, but the next morning, she led him to a payphone and handed him coins. "Call someone," she said. "Someone who'll answer." Ellis dialed Jonah's old number. Jonah answered on the first ring. They met at the old skate park near the outskirts, Jonah breathless, older, tired, but still Jonah. The hug they shared didn't fix everything, but it was a start. Corin watched from a distance, then disappeared before anyone could ask her to stay. She didn't do goodbyes. Jonah brought Ellis home, but things weren't magically better. Their parents cried, apologized, promised therapy. Jonah stayed longer this time, got a job at the local music shop, even played open mic nights. At school, Ellis started drawing again, maps of places he'd been, people he met, eyes always searching the edge of the page. He never forgot Corin. Sometimes he walked the places they'd been, leaving little signs only she would understand. A scarf tied to a fence post, a chalk arrow under a bench, a folded paper map with a red X. He hoped one day she'd find her way back too. Map ends here, but maybe the road doesn't.